I want a standing ovation for a man, Mr. Perfect in the Final Four. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Mr. Perfect.
Good job.
Yes. Oh, a chant.
Thank you, guys.
Mr. Perfect.
A chant. Oh, my God.
Mr. Perfect.
It's a good chant.
Mr. Perfect. You left me alone. I'm always that guy.
Love the straggler. Love the straggler. There's always one.
I take it one cheer too far. I always do
Very
it.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's a very vulnerable feeling when you're the last one out there by yourself chanting. Everyone else
I
has
don't
gone.
care.
Everyone else has gone back to their lives, and you're still out there yelling "Mr. Perfect" by yourself.
It's for Mr. Perfect playing in a Final Four. I don't care.
There it is. Mr. Perfect being celebrated imperfectly by Mr. Imperfect. Thank you for being on with us. And did you know in the game, because we gave the stat earlier, in 25 years it hasn't happened before that, Christian Laettner was able to do it. You make all your shots, all your free throws. Jim Larrañaga calls you the most underrated player in the country. Did you know when you were in the middle of the game, Jordan, and congratulations, that you had missed a shot?
First off, thank you for the ovation, standing ovation. I appreciate you having me on. In the middle of the game, I did not. Just being a competitor, I just didn't want to lose. I was kind of just in that zone, you can say. And then after the game, people were telling me, like, you didn't miss a shot. And I was just as surprised as kind of everyone else. So to answer your question, I didn't know that I shot perfectly. But it's definitely a pretty cool experience, especially the stage that it was on.
Do you go into that game, the game plan for you as somebody, that's a veteran coach saying, I'm looking over the landscape and this guy's doing all the stuff for us, and you do it quietly, you're not super emotional. Do you go into that game saying, I need to be better on defense today than I am on offense?
Well, my thing is, I take a lot of pride in my defense. I feel like I'm a really good defensive player, humbly, of course. So the level of intensity that I was bringing and the way I was locked in because of last year and how we made it to the Elite Eight and how I wanted to get past this kind of hump, I'm not surprised by just my energy and everything and everyone else who brought, great energy and intensity. But we knew Texas was a great team. We knew we needed to bring our A game. They kind of had us in the first half, but we stayed poised down the stretch and found a way to win that one.
Jordan, it seems like what you learned is defense wins championships, right?
What a terrible question.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. Let him answer the question. I mean,
don't follow that man.
He didn't answer.
No, I got you. Yeah, no, 100%. Like at the end of the day, right, we're a really good offensive team. And it comes down to us getting enough stops to win a basketball game.
Yep.
And I think, that's something that we're gonna have to keep building upon and getting those stops with our next upcoming games.
Can you give me an understanding, a layman's understanding of how strong Omer is?
Yeah, I mean, he's a big fella, a lot of mass to him. I think there's a lot of natural strength to him. I mean, you guys see the way he goes after these rebounds like a bull. Whoever's in his way, he's just going to get it. I think it's what helps us. He's our big dominant presence on the inside, and he's a very important piece.
Can you tell us your story on the path that led to you ending up in Miami and what you view as the most impressive things, obstacles that you've overcome to get to here?
Yeah, so I'll run through it quickly. I started off at George Mason. Coach L was actually there too and took them to the Final Four 17 years the day we won that game. My head coach got fired my junior year. I entered the transfer portal. Coach L called me. First thing he says was, "Do you know about my success I had at George Mason?" We shared a laugh. But ultimately, it was during COVID, so I had a COVID Zoom visit with them. They expressed to me, their interest in my game. They really broke down the analytical side of my game and how it'd be a good fit for them. I ended up choosing Miami just due to the want they had for me. And the biggest challenge for me, especially last year, I would say, was just trying to find my role on the team. Being a transfer is something I didn't know much about because obviously I didn't transfer, and just trying to, gel with the new team and with your new team, teammates, coaches, and see what they really want from you. That was something that was a really hard adjustment for me. But I think over this 2-year span, I've kind of figured it out a little bit more and more. And, that's why, I've been having some success this year.
Jordan, how tough was the transition from the A-10 to the ACC?
Yeah, it wasn't. I would say the biggest difference, right, is the bigs. You in the ACC, you see a lot more 7-footers, 6'11" consistently throughout the league. In the A-10, the bigs usually around 6'8". You'll occasionally see a 6'10" big, but are they necessarily very agile and athletic on their feet? No, they're mainly just there for their size. So that was probably the biggest difference.
That's a pretty good articulation of why a conference would be better than another conference. Like, oh, the 6'10" guys move like 6'7" guys, and that's what makes it. That's what makes it a little bit harder. Can you explain to us before this season started, honestly, when you dreamed the big dreams, were you thinking that it landed here?
That's a great question. There was the unknown because we made a really deep run last year to the Elite Eight, and it was obviously something we wanted to do, but we lost pieces in Cam Auguste, Charlie Moore, Sam Wardenberg, who were all starters and key pieces to our last year's team. So this year's team I knew was going to look different due to Nigel Pack coming in. He's a sharpshooter. Norchad, who obviously is a bull, but immediately first thing you think is, okay, he's only 6'7". How is he going to do against 7-footers?
Well, he's stronger. He's stronger than all of them, though. Like, it's weird. I don't even. I don't understand. I don't know how many dudes like that you've played at that size that have that kind of strength. It's really unusual.
Yeah, he honestly reminds me of Kenneth Faried from the NBA. I don't know if you guys know who that is. I'm sure you do, but. Yeah, so I didn't know, obviously I was optimistic and I knew every player had the work ethic, but I think we found a way to just piece it together and kind of make things come to fruition.
At every level, are you coming off of your best game? Like, what's the best game you've ever played?
That one has to be up there, to be honest with you. For me, again, right, like media before the game, there's a bunch of media stuff. Like, I was telling them I was so locked in for this game because the feeling I had last year, and that's probably the most locked in I was for a basketball game too. Like, I just wanted to get to the Final Four so bad, and now that we have accomplished this, that's a short-term goal you achieve, on to the next. But I think that's probably the best game I had.
Jordan, we got a guy here who's a huge Miami fan. His name's Mike Ryan. He's not here today, but he crows all the time about how you guys are disrespected by other teams, disrespected by the media. What's the most disrespected you guys have felt this season?
I don't know if you guys saw our Don't Pick Us video. That kind of builds off of just the disrespect we kind of been feeling all year. But the most disrespected moment, I will say off the top of my head, would be our seeding. Seeding doesn't necessarily matter in the tournament. As you can tell, in the Final Four group, no one's a 1 seed or a 2 seed or a 3 seed. But we were rolling at the end of the year. Yes, we lost to Duke in the ACC tournament. We didn't have Norchad, which is a big piece, and we only ended up losing by 6. So I would say, our seeding in the NCAA tournament.
Jordan, thank you for being on with us. We appreciate your time, sir, and congratulations on the run. 2 more victories. 1 more victory, and Jim Nantz is just walking straight to Augusta because he doesn't want a Miami FAU final.
Right, but you might get his tie, Jordan. You might get the tie.
Yeah.
Mr.
Thank you, guys.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Mr. Perfect.
Mr. Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
man.
I mean,
Oh,
come
no,
on,
no.
man.